On the edge of his consciousness, Ryuji hears only one thing: kill! Over and over those words crash into his mind, blurring the lines between fighter and beast. He loses himself in an abyss of rage. A flash, like a signal, like an awakening. He comes to his senses sharply. Before his eyes are bloody hands, everything around him seems to freeze. He stands alone, breathing heavily, realizing he almost crossed the line. It is now that the real fight begins. Ryuji, 10 losses in a row. To everyone, he's just a punching bag. He's laughed at, written off. But this is his 10th fight. The referee calls out the fighters. He gives a final reminder. No knee or elbow strikes to the face. Understood? Everything is by the rules. But the tension is beyond the rules. Ryuji is silent. His face is stone. There is no fear or excitement in his eyes. As soon as the gong sounds, everything changes. The opponent's self-confidence begins to crack. What's wrong with this guy? He feels it on the level of instinct. Ryuji doesn't attack. He just stands there, waiting. He rushes forward, hoping to end the fight with one punch. But Ryuji didn't even move. Ryuji takes a step to the side. Just one step, and everything changes. His eyes are cold. Evasion. Counterstrike. And it's no longer him in the corner, it's his opponent. One after the other, hard punches are thrown at the confused fighter. The crowd roars. Someone is calling for him to stop. But Ryuji is possessed. Die, he whispers as he delivers the final blow. His opponent is already defeated, but Ryuji won't stop. It's like he's losing control. The blows come one after another. "Hey, what's wrong with you?" they yell from the corner. But Ryuji is in a trance. Watching from the stands is Kanemaru Joe, the president of the FFC, the man who saw the whole thing. But even he's a little shocked. Looks like we have something interesting here. The commentators are puzzled. MMA is not a street fight. It's an art form. But in Ryuji, it's not technique. In him, it's instinct. Animal, uncontrolled, dangerous. He won and was immediately disqualified. But you know what? He doesn't care. He's not after the glory. He's not after the money. He just fought. It wasn't technique. It was pure luck, some say. Or not, Kanemaru Joe thinks. Maybe we witnessed the awakening of a true fighter. However, a week before the fight, Ryuji suddenly disappeared. Upon his return, he looked depressed and was reluctant to say what had happened. When asked directly, he shut himself off, and dark memories, violence, the fight, blood, and mysterious figures in red light. This event has clearly left a heavy mark on him. As his hands begin to tremble, his coach calls his name, Ryuji. Ryuji is gripped by panic. The trainer quickly takes control of the situation. He gives Ryuji ice and asks him to breathe slowly and deeply, trying to stabilize the fighter's condition. At this point, the chairman of the organization appears. He recognizes the coach and notes that it's been quite some time since their last meeting. The chairman says that he does not expect an apology. Such incidents should be resolved between the fighters themselves. He notices an oddity. Ryuji was unusually tense and agitated today, which is uncharacteristic of him. Even though the fight was at the amateur level, the situation was too serious and left questions. I want to give him a chance. And it didn't take long for the chance to come. A week later, it's the main event of FFC 7. One of the fighters suddenly refuses to participate. Probably chickened out. And now there's a vacancy. Seems like a chance out of nowhere. But there's just one thing. His opponent is a legend, Oji Tisei. Nickname, the Prince of Lightweight. 3rd place in the rankings, And our newcomer isn't even at that weight. He's a welterweight. He's got a week to get in shape. A week to prove he's worthy of the ring, or forever remain in the shadows. If he says no, it's understandable. It is made clear to them that if they refuse, future contracts will be cancelled. However, if Ryuji performs well in his next fight, he will be guaranteed a professional debut. His trainer is hesitant at first, but Ryuji asks with determination to be allowed to take the fight. The deal is done, and the FFC representative, happy with the decision, promises to contact them soon. The fight is scheduled to take place in a week's time. The trainer is concerned. To get into the lightweight division, the fighter will have to lose pounds in a matter of days. That could cost him not just his shape, but his health. He says bluntly, "You won't be a fighter. You'll be a walking corpse." But the protagonist doesn't back down. Even when he's told he's sure to lose, he still goes forward. His hands, previously trembling, are now full of confidence. The coach accepts his decision, but makes one condition. One more incident like today, and he will be banished from the gym forever. After all, they are a team. And the hero, who broke all the rules and showed disrespect to the opponent and the referee, looking straight ahead, he says, "It won't happen again." Shinkawa is once again haunted by terrifying visions, scenes from a nightmare where he finds himself on a brutal battlefield. During a session with a therapist, one of these hallucinations pops up in front of his eyes, and he loses touch with reality. When he wakes up, he apologizes, not realizing what has just happened. The doctor tries to find out. Did it all start after that dream? Shinkawa confirms that, yes, he has been having a nightmare ever since. The doctor decides to prescribe sedatives and sleeping pills, promising that they are not addictive. The protagonist walks out of the doctor's office, surprised at how easy the appointment was. That's it?" he asks, to which the doctor replies that the prescription is available at the front desk. He then stands in front of the hospital building at night and ponders. A dream, huh? I hope it's just a dream. He is relieved that he wasn't thought to be crazy, despite the strangeness of the story. The main character, Kento Shinkawa, a 20-year-old boy and aspiring MMA fighter, comes to the hospital after having disturbing dreams. He tells the doctor that in the dreams his consciousness is transported to ancient Greece, where he fights as a slave. These dreams lasted 5 years, were extremely realistic, and now he cannot distinguish them from reality. Although the doctor simply prescribes him pills for insomnia and anxiety, she is still intrigued by his story. She studies his history and notices that he suffers from déjà vu, panic attacks and flashbacks of ancient battles. The protagonist suffers from severe post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, a condition that occurs after severe psychological trauma. He is tormented by outbursts of rage and painful memories, as if he had lived through 5 years of continuous fighting in just one night. Meanwhile, he watches the fight of his future opponent, a fighter who knocked out his opponent in just 7 seconds. The protagonist and his coach watch the fight of his future opponent. He is a powerful, experienced fighter with 9 victories and competently dropped weight. After 80 kilograms at the weigh-in, he returns to 100. The hero, to get into the same category, needs to lose 10 kilograms in a week. The trainer says bluntly, "Without food, no recovery. You'll come out like a walking corpse." The fight is 3 5-minute rounds. He gives him a chance to back out. The hero doesn't say a word. "Will do." The trainer looks at him hard. Are you sure there's no other way? Coach, look, be realistic. You're weaker in every way. There's almost zero chance of winning. But if you decide to fight, the only way to win is to go straight to the floor, punch as hard as you can, and knock you out in the first round. Now imagine you're in the ring with OG. You're exhausted after a tough weight cut. Every move is worth its weight in gold. Your opponent knows that. He's not going to go for it. So what's your plan? The coach suddenly realizes that he is no longer just facing a student. The guy standing in front of him exudes an intimidating confidence and strength that is hard to explain. With every move, he demonstrates inhuman speed and precision. Kento is preparing for a fight and is forced to lose 10 kilos in a week, which is alarming to his team. It's too dangerous and could end in tragedy. One of the fighters recalls that there have been deaths from drastic weight loss. Despite this, the trainer believes Kento will do well, as he strictly controls his diet and salt. But even if he makes the weight, his opponent is a top fighter. Kento is discouraged from sparring because of his condition, but he insists he is ready. The trainer immediately gives him a team to prepare and prescribes a strict diet: banana, avocado, minimal food, and intense training. This will cause a severe calorie deficit, but Kento agrees. The trainer promises to go through it with him. One of the fighters is shocked by this decision and begins to question the adequacy of the trainer. A newcomer unexpectedly defeats an experienced fighter named Takeshi, who is one of the top 5 fighters in the welterweight division. With his speed and accuracy, he lands a devastating blow, stunning everyone present. A dark rage awakens inside him, with voices in his head inciting violence. But he holds back. The trainer checks on Takeshi's condition, rebuking him for not wearing protection, and pointing out that, in a real fight, he wouldn't have gotten up anymore. The coach decides that Kento needs to tighten up his fighting skills and assigns Takeshi, an experienced fighter, to take over his training. The team gets a short break while Kento continues to improve.